What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video that will detail what I think are some of the best MMO games to play in 2022. In this video, we will take a look at some of these MMOs and I will briefly explain what they are, what I like about them, and what there is to do in them, in hopes of helping you find a new MMO to sink hundreds of hours into. But first I want to give a few warnings. Firstly, the games in this video are not in any specific order. I think all of these games are great, and I wouldn't rank them against each other because they all offer different experiences. I also want to let you know that I have either already started to cover or plan on covering these games on my YouTube channel. So if there is a game that you think you might want to try, but feel like you might need some extra help in them, consider subscribing to this channel for the videos I will be making on those games. I will also be playing these games live on Twitch with my viewers. You can find a link to my Twitch channel in the pinned comment below. Now let's get right into it. First up we have Lost Ark. If you have been following my channel lately, you will know I have been putting massive amounts of time into Lost Ark. And the reason for that is simple. There is just so much to do, which is a great thing for an MMO. You can easily spend hundreds of hours in Lost Ark by just going after collectibles like island souls, masterpieces, Makoko seeds, and a ton of other goodies. And there is also a very big adventurer's tome in the game that rewards you with mounts, cosmetics, and character stat upgrades just for completing optional content in each continent. When it comes to endgame, Lost Ark has a lot of it. There are Chaos Dungeons, which are single to 4-player dungeons that you can play through for gear and upgrade materials. Abyssal Dungeons, which are a much harder version of that dungeon experience, made for groups of 4 to 8 players. Guardian Raids, which are similar to monster hunts in the game Monster Hunter. And Abyssal Guardian Raids, which is a much harder version of that original Guardian Raid activity, but for larger groups of 8 players. But if you are more of a PvP player, don't worry because Lost Ark offers a great experience for PvP players that you can play casually, or if you want to get sweaty you can dive into the ranked PvP. And with 15 playable classes available on release and a lot more to come, there is a class for everyone. And on top of all of that, Lost Ark is also a free-to-play game, so you can hop in and try it out without any risk. Next up is The Division 2. If you like the idea of being a highly trained government agent fighting off groups of psychotic cultists in the middle of a pandemic caused by a chemical attack, you should give Division 2 a try. In The Division 2, you play as a member of the Division and your goal is to bring order to the streets of Washington. You can explore a massive map with loot and crafting resources around every corner, just waiting to be uncovered. The Division 2 is a looter shooter, so you will spend a lot of time farming bosses to get new weapons, then throwing attachments on them to make those weapons even better. There are also a lot of abilities, gear sets with unique perks, and specializations which allow you to craft some really strange builds. Then you can take those builds into heroic dungeons or 8-player raids to get even better loot. There is also a new activity in the game called the Summit where your goal is to climb the floors of a skyscraper and every floor you reach gets harder and harder, so your builds will really be tested in this activity. For the PvP players, there is a dedicated 4v4 PvP mode, and there is the Dark Zone, which is a free-for-all PvP zone that is based around risk versus reward. The Dark Zone will contain the best loot, but at any time another player can kill you in a Dark Zone and take all of the loot you have found in that Dark Zone. Of course, the loot you bring into the Dark Zone will be safe, but it really hurts to lose some of those good weapons you find in that Dark Zone. Since the release of The Division 2, the game has added a new DLC with a new area to play in, and that DLC raises the level cap from 30 to 40, and there will be another big DLC coming this year. Next up will be New World. Some people might not like New World as it was kind of empty at launch, but New World still remains one of my favorite MMOs. Sure, there hasn't been a lot added to New World lately, but the changes they have made have been great and there's a lot for new players to do. You can spend hundreds of hours harvesting materials and crafting gear and items alone. Or you could run through the endgame dungeons and zones taking down the harder bosses to get better gear. For PvP players, there is a lot to do with open world PvP happening across the map, and if you are a part of a guild, you can sign up for a war where you are either defending or attacking a fort to gain control of a zone for your faction and guild. There are a lot of new things coming to New World in 2022, like 3v3 PvP arenas, new expeditions, new weapons, and new zones, which makes me very hopeful for the future of New World. Next up is World of Warcraft. If you have been playing MMOs for a while, there's a good chance you have either heard of or played World of Warcraft. But in 2022, World of Warcraft remains one of the biggest MMOs. Hopping into the game right now gives you access to almost 18 years worth of content like raids, professions, dungeons, achievements, and ranked and unranked PvP. And with a new expansion coming soon, there will be even more to do in World of Warcraft. Now, of course, World of Warcraft is a game that requires a subscription to play, but that subscription will also give you access to World of Warcraft Classic and Burning Crusade Classic, which allows players to travel back in time and experience the game as it was back in 2004. Next up on the list is Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online has been going strong since it was released in 2014, with tons of content for new players to sink their teeth into, like trials and veteran dungeons made for 4 to 12 players, and there is also a massive PvP system in this game. Players can dive into 4v4v4 PvP matches, or you can join your faction in an always ongoing alliance war for the control of the central region of Cyrodiil. In this area, you will find large-scale open-world PvP fights, which are actually a lot of fun to be a part of. Elder Scrolls Online also offers a nice casual experience where players can explore the world and complete side quests, or they can collect resources to become a crafter. Next up is Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is a game many players may have given up on a few weeks after it was released, but since then the game has completely changed. There is so much to do in this game, like collecting gear sets, exotic weapons and armor, and playing through the harder dungeons and mind-blowing raids. And on top of that, every 3 months new content is added to the game through a seasonal format. And that seasonal format has been amazing. The story just continues to get better and better. I actually get so excited when they announce a new season and I just instantly hop back into the game. And there is also a good PvP system for players who want to play PvP with the loot they get from those other activities. Destiny 2 is another free-to-play game, so you can hop in and try it without any risk. Next up is DC Universe Online. DC Universe Online has a small but active community, but those who play it still love it, myself included. This game may not have as much to do as other games in this list, but what the game does have makes up for it. The main endgame activity in this game will be the raids and dungeons, which are all done very well, and they are all related to DC comic books. So it always feels like you are playing through a comic book, which is a very fun feeling. And with a ton of different power types available to you, you can live out the fantasy of being a real superhero. One thing I really love about this game that I wish other games would start doing is increasing your character's power based on the optional content you complete. For example, if you are a completionist and you go after a ton of achievements in this game, your character will be a lot stronger than someone who only plays the main content. And finally will be Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I have only put about 50 to 60 hours into this game, but what I have experienced has been amazing. This game offers some very difficult endgame content and a well done main story. You can also level up every class on one single character, cutting out the need for making alts, allowing you to put all of your effort into one single character, which is very nice to see in a big MMO. And those are my top 8 MMOs of 2022. Hopefully you have found a new MMO to sink your time into. Like I mentioned earlier, I plan on covering all of these games at some point on this channel, so consider subscribing to this channel to see those videos when I post them. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.